Alright brother, today we're talking about relationships and toxic relationship dynamics, and I want to ask you a few questions. If you look back in your relationships, have you ever had the experience of a woman that you're dating disrespecting you, both in public and in private, undermining your decisions, attempting to mother you, attempting to belittle you in some way, attempting to ridicule you, attempting to weaponize your vulnerabilities against you, or using sex and affection as a bargaining chip? If you've experienced anything like this in the past, then I'll be honest with you, mate, this video might sting a little bit. But this video could change everything for you. The truth is, you are unconsciously attracting these kinds of relationship dynamics into your life. And it's unconscious because it's not your fault. It's a set of programming that you picked up throughout your childhood. It's a program that I call being the nice guy. Today we're going to dismantle that nice guy programming insofar as it exists in you. And we're going to show you, we're going to discuss, and I'm going to map out a new way of being with women, a way that inspires what I call trust, lust, and devotion from healthy romantic partners. And if this is your first time here, mate, my name is Oliver. I'm a men's coach, I'm a writer, and I'm a retreat leader. And my mission is to help men become confident in life, love, and relationships. Let's start with a few of the signs of a dysfunctional or toxic relationship dynamic. And I want to read a few of these signs out, and I want to see if you can relate to any of these. She criticizes you, not in a constructive way, but in a destructive way. She publicly belittles you in front of company. She weaponizes sex and affection to get what she wants, or she sort of takes it off the plate and puts it back on. And by the way, in no way am I saying that she should be willing all of the time. But if there's a pattern of using it or punishing you, using affection or the lack of it to try to get you to behave in a certain way, or as some sort of stonewalling, like distancing herself from you when you've upset her, but without her explaining it or consciously going through it with you, that's a pattern. Using your vulnerability against you, and if you're in a dynamic that's turned relationally sort of toxic, then you tend to feel like you're constantly walking on eggshells. You never feel like you're actually good enough. You feel consistently drained. You don't feel like this relationship is bringing anything to your life. You feel like it's a massive burden that's weighing you down. These are symptoms of a deeper pattern that you have likely been running your whole life. And it's the nice guy program. But let's dive into that. What is the nice guy program? Well, first of all, I just want to clarify this. Not all women are toxically manipulative. I need to say that because online, that's not the kind of dynamic, that's not the kind of communication that you're going to get on many YouTube channels, painting women as the problem. On this channel, that's not what we're about. Not all women are emotionally unstable and manipulative, but the nice guy pattern creates the kind of perfect storm, perfect conditions where toxic relationship dynamics can thrive. And if you are a nice guy with nice guy programming, which I'll get into in a second, then you are the perfect target for women who are emotionally deeply wounded and unconscious of that. And here's why. Emotionally wounded women are often navigating their own chaos. They have learned to seek control, emotional intensity, or external validation as a way to feel safe. And as a nice guy who usually has a crippling fear of conflict and a craving for external validation himself, he becomes the perfect target for her. Because a nice guy, he avoids setting boundaries, he avoids communicating things assertively, he avoids drawing a line when it needs to be, and he often joins her in the kind of emotional chaos that she thrives on. And by trying to constantly keep the peace or avoid rocking the boat in any way or doing anything that might upset or disappoint her, he essentially becomes passive. And he fades into the background, and he avoids taking full responsibility and leadership and setting the tone in his relationship. And this creates more of the chaos that he's trying to avoid. He is emotionally avoidant and passive. And to a grounded, healthy woman, that kind of emotional avoidance and passivity is a repellent. She's not interested in a partner who's emotionally not even really there and avoids leadership. You end up in this relationship where you're essentially constantly chasing her approval, constantly walking on eggshells, constantly repressing your own needs and desires and everything that makes you you. After a while, you end up in this relationship where you don't even know who you are anymore. And I know this because I've lived it personally. What I'm describing is the kind of relationship dynamic that I used to keep attracting in the past. And when I was in it, I felt like a complete loser. I didn't know who I was. I was in a dynamic with a kind of negative feedback loop that was crippling my self-respect. But the thing is, when you spot this pattern, you can absolutely get out of it. Your relationships go from being ones based on chaos and drama to being ones of peace and respect and a sense of calm, a sense of mutual desire, a relationship where you are consistently deepening your personal growth and learning who you really are throughout it, alongside someone who is respectful and just as invested in your growth as you are in her growth and your own. You can absolutely have that, mate. I want to just say that to you right now. You can absolutely have that. But there's a journey that you need to go on that you may have been resisting up to this point. You may not be the cause of her emotional chaos, but you are absolutely the solution you are looking for in your life if you want a healthy relationship or healthy relationships in general. And the solution to that, my brother, is stepping into healthy masculine leadership. It's becoming the kind of man who naturally, because of who he is and how he conducts himself and how he carries himself in the world, he naturally attracts emotionally healthy women. And this is also the kind of man who has absolutely no time or space in his life for emotional drama and chaos. But let's talk about how you can actually become that kind of man. Let's talk about healthy masculine leadership. Let's talk about how you can actually build this in your life, and let's talk about the 3 core pillars of healthy masculine leadership and how you can start practicing them today. But the first thing, what is healthy masculine leadership? I need to address this. Healthy masculine leadership, to a nice guy, often feels like control and domination. Nice guys, because of our internalized shame around being a man, around masculinity, around your assertiveness, your aggression, around all the parts that society deems threatening in a man, you've internalized that, so you now believe that your leadership on some level is harmful to other people, and it's the opposite of the truth. Your leadership is, a real healthy masculine leadership is managing to lead yourself and other people with a grounded sense of calm, clarity, truth, love, and integrity. I want you to really rewire this in your mind. Your leadership is a gift. And honestly, it is a gift that many, if not most, healthy, emotionally healthy women are craving deep down. Maybe you have actually been unconsciously repelling emotionally healthy women because they can spot your insecurities and nice guy programming and your wounding before even you can. True leadership is serving you and serving her. Domination and control is serving you at the expense of her. So here are the 3 core pillars of healthy masculine leadership and how you can practice them. The first pillar is called emotional non-reactivity. Emotional non-reactivity means staying calm, grounded and centered in the middle of emotional chaos. Let's say, for example, to make this really practical, let's say you're in a relationship with a woman and your partner, she starts venting to you and having an emotional reaction to something and starts directing it your way, maybe throwing accusatory things your way, saying, "You never listen to me." Let's say that's what she says. "You never listen to me." Now, what a nice guy does in that situation is he goes into a defensive response. His emotions get triggered, his shame gets triggered, his anxiety gets triggered, and he starts defending himself. And he starts saying, "What are you talking about? I always listen to you." And then you get into this back and forth where you're both under the surface in a kind of emotionally chaotic situation. But a grounded, healthy masculine leader does something different. He slows down, he feels the emotional trigger in his system, but he doesn't let his actions be dictated by that. He might take a deep breath, he might slow the whole dynamic down, he might slow the situation down, he might recognise that it's not actually about him. He might recognise that she's just dysregulated emotionally in this moment. And then he might say something like, "I hear you. You're right to feel overwhelmed in this moment. But I'm not going anywhere. I'm here, and we're going to figure it out." He doesn't flinch. He doesn't become unseated from himself. She feels his presence, and most of the time, this naturally calms things down way more than it would have if you got into a shouting match with her. The second pillar is structure and containment. Structure and containment is about leading the emotional frame and setting the tone of the relationship. Because nice guys are afraid of being too much, or nice guys have a kind of shame around their own desires and whatever, or they're afraid of being controlling, they avoid making decisions. But when you avoid making decisions, that forces her to then make decisions, which over time she may come to resent. Because she doesn't feel like you're in partnership with her, she feels like she's your mother. But a grounded, masculine leader brings clarity and direction to her chaos. He doesn't pour petrol on the fire of her emotional chaos and bring more chaos to her life. He brings calm and clarity. Let's say, for example, to make this practical, she is overwhelmed about plans for the weekend. Let's say she's had a very busy week and she wants to do something with you, but she's not sure what it is. She says, I don't know what I feel like doing this weekend. Now, a nice guy's response to that would be, oh, we can do, what do you want to do? Oh, we can do whatever you want. That adds chaos. And the nice guy justifies it by saying that he's being considerate. But is actually being emotionally passive and avoiding making a decision. And she knows that. And it's all unspoken under the surface. But a grounded man might say, you've had a rough week. Leave it to me. Why don't we go for Thai food on Saturday? And if you're still feeling overwhelmed, we're just going to kick our feet up and chill on the Sunday, maybe go for a walk with the dogs or something. That is you making suggestions and setting a frame and providing some structure to her world. That's leadership. That's not about control. That's about presence and clarity. And it is mind-blowing to some of my clients, and it was for me, how open and receptive and calm this makes the dynamic. When you can set the tone and take the lead, what this does for a woman's nervous system is almost better than therapy. Probably even is better than therapy. And the third pillar of healthy masculine leadership is safety. Now, nice guys try to create safety and not be like those other asshole guys out there by being overly considerate, overly apologetic even, overly agreeable, by being very, very fluid and not wanting to set any boundaries or anything. But that doesn't actually build trust in her. She doesn't trust a man who doesn't even know how to please himself, because you don't feel secure in yourself and you're not being fully congruent and authentic, and she can't trust a man who is not being congruent and authentic in himself. And that's when the shit tests begin, and that's when she'll start saying things or doing things off the cuff to kind of push your boundaries to get you to step up and inspire a sense of safety, because on some level she wants to know she can trust you. So those were the 3 pillars of healthy masculine leadership, and I promise you, mate, if you start embodying these 3 pillars, you will repel toxic relationship dynamics. You will repel emotionally immature women. And am I saying that your relationships are going to be smooth sailing and perfect? No, absolutely not. But the point is, you're going to be the kind of man who can carry himself, and because he can carry himself and hold himself, he has space to hold her too. And on the flip side of this, on the other side, I want to just say that is deeply attractive. If you want to kill the nice guy within, click the link in the pinned comment down below. You can sign up for a free 5-day Kill the Nice Guy email course from me. And if you're interested in working with me personally, building healthy masculine leadership is one of the things that I work with one-to-one clients on. So click the other link in the pinned comment down below to find out how you can work with me privately. I'm going to get out of this literal walk-in wardrobe right now. I'm going to go and take my dog for a walk, and I will see you, brother, in the next video. Stay courageous.